What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got a quick video for you guys today. So last video I took out the engine from a 1990 Nissan 300ZX. You can see the completely empty engine bay right here. So what I'm going to be doing today is giving this a really good clean. I'm not going to be going crazy with it. I'm just trying to get it clean enough right now so I can work on it. And because it's just caked with oil and power steering fluid and God knows what else. So I'm gonna give it a good clean there. And we got the engine on the engine stand right there. I was just in the process of putting it on the engine stand. So I'm gonna transfer it over to the engine stand and then we're gonna give that a quick clean as well. I'm gonna cover most of the stuff. Most of the stuff in here is getting replaced anyways, but I'm gonna be covering most of it with like tin foil and plastic bags and stuff. And also on the engine, I'll cover some electrical plugs and stuff there as well. I do have a new engine harness anyways that's going in this, but I'm still gonna cover as much as I can just in case I need to hang on to this wiring harness for any reason. I don't wanna do damage for no reason. So I'll cover up as much as I can, but again, I'm not going too crazy with it. I'm just gonna give it a decent clean. This is the first time this engine bay is gonna be cleaned properly since the vehicle was new, I'm guessing, because this engine was never, ever pulled. This engine or tranny actually was never pulled. Everything was bone stock when I pulled this thing out. So I'm gonna show you guys what we're working with, and then I'm gonna mount you guys up. I'm gonna start covering everything, and then we'll go from there. What I also just did right now was I put my front cross member all back to how it was. As I said last video, when I was doing the engine pull, my oil pan was hitting the power steering rack, so I had to lower all of that. So I had all my most of my suspension nuts and bolts loosened or removed. So I didn't want to leave it like that. There's no reason for my cross member to be disconnected or lowered anymore. So I wanted to put that all back. So I put everything, steering column, back to how it was. So everything was put back together using thread locker and a torque wrench. And I have the service manual for this car. So I torqued it down to spec. Very important, if you're ever taking apart stuff in your car, make sure you torque it down to spec. With that being said, let's get right into it. Okay, so here's where we're at. I'm pretty sure masking everything and covering everything took me way longer than it is gonna take to clean everything, but that's okay. And I'm pretty sure it's overkill, but you know what, better safe than sorry. So I'm gonna show you what I covered. I did the actual engine bay and the car off camera, covered the sides and the headlights. I just don't wanna get grease on these things. I know water is not gonna damage it, obviously, but I don't wanna get grease on my paint job and power steering fluid and whatever else is in this engine bay all over my car and my headlights. So I covered that. Like I said, I have a new wiring harness, but I just wanted to cover some of them anyways. Some of them I didn't do, some of them I did, whatever. Anyways, you can see what I did here. This cover that I got, basically, I went to the dollar store. I got tin foil. It's like a cover you put down when you're painting like your house or something. It's very, very soft. It's not gonna scratch anything. I spent $5 on tin foil and the cover just to get it going good. I covered the fenders. I covered a bit of the windshield. What I also realized is that I need a new battery tray because I found rust on it. So that must be a pretty common thing that happens with battery trays, because this car doesn't have a speck of rust on it anywhere, but my battery tray does. So I'm obviously gonna change that. You can see right here what I'm talking about. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that could repair something like that. I can't, nor can I weld. And it seems like it's excessive. There's like a hole in there too, so I'm not gonna try fixing that. It's gonna need a new piece welded on, I'm pretty sure. and that's above my pay grade. Anyway, so that's the engine bay. So my AC compressor was shot. You can see it's leaking oil or whatever. I've had the car for about 2-3-ish years now. AC never worked for me. I knew it was the AC compressor. Part of the reason was the AC compressor. So I'm gonna actually send this one out and get it rebuilt. I found a brand new one that there's a company selling in the States. Price was pretty good, but it's about $100 cheaper to rebuild mine. Honestly, I just want to rebuild it because if I buy a new one, I don't want to scrap this one. So might as well rebuild it and have everything perfect there. I also have a dryer, like a leaf blower or snow blower or whatever. I'm going to use that to dry everything off as soon as I'm done, just so it doesn't sit and water doesn't sit wherever I don't want it to and cause any problems. So, and the chemical that I'm using for cleaning is this. I had this lying around. I've used it on my engine bay in my car before. Not this car, a different one. It worked great. I'm not gonna go buy something new just for this. Maybe I will later when I'm done and I'm trying to detail the engine bay, but at the moment, this is gonna get the job done, no problem. So. Okay, so overall it turned out pretty decent, even dried pretty good. The AC condenser didn't really change much. It's still just super greased up. Even the power steering pump, like that thing was leaking like crazy. There was oil and grease all over it. And that's pretty much all gone now. So that makes me pretty happy. It's gonna be a lot easier to work on. So now we're gonna start on that engine bay. Let's go. Okay, overall, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I dried that engine bay a lot. It's pretty much dry to the touch already. So that leaf blower came in really, really handy. I didn't go as hard on the transmission as I wanted to because I know I'm gonna be pulling that and I'm gonna clean it properly once I have it out of the car because there's oil and grease around the outside of the transmission too, so I'm going to clean that all at once. So I just did a little bit. As you guys saw in that little edit, all of that power steering leak that was on the side is pretty much all gone. There's a little bit left. It's not perfect, and you know, my OCD is kind of kicking in and I want to fix it so it's absolutely perfect, but I think I should just let it go. Before I put the engine back in here, I'll degrease and clean it and make it look as good as I can once again. But for now, this is clean enough to work on. For the most part, for the next few weeks, I'm not going to be doing much in the engine bay anyways. It's going to be mostly in the motor. So this is more than enough to get me started and not filthy and disgusting every time I touch this car. So this shop came in so handy. I love having this place to work on my car. It's minus 55 degrees Celsius outside. And I'm here in just a full sleeve shirt. There's heaters in here. This car is gonna drive perfectly. Stay tuned for the next video where I take apart the engine and I start installing some fuel injectors, taking off the exhaust manifolds and stuff that are on there right now, and starting this build. And I'm also gonna take apart some things, send it out to get it powder coated. So yeah, we're gonna make this engine look crazy nice. I have a color scheme in my mind. Try to powder coat most of it, like the plenum and the valve covers and stuff, just because that is probably the part that would get chipped the quickest if it was paint. This kind of stuff right here, I'm probably gonna, this I'll get powder coated as well. This I'll probably paint, or maybe leave it as is. Nah, I should probably paint it. But anyways, I'll show you guys that as I'm doing it. But yeah, we're gonna start tearing into this thing in the next video. And you know, looking at this engine bay, I really wanna do an engine bay shave and repaint this and give it around a clear coat. But that is way above my pay grade. I can't do body work at all, and I don't wanna try for the first time on this car. But man, I would love this engine bay to be shaved and look amazing. But I also don't want to send it out and get it done because I've spent so much money and I really don't think it's that necessary. What I will do though is I'm going to do all, of course, like I said, I'll do all the deletes I can, and I'll tuck the wiring as much as I can and make it look as good as I can without shaving it. But we'll see how that goes. With this car, I just want everything to be perfect. But yeah, you know what? I don't want to delete everything and shave it. I would love to, but just not doable at the moment. Maybe in the future one day if this motor ever has to come out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the support. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, which is mind-blowing for me. It's all because of you guys. Thank you so much. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.